What's going on? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm actually going to be going over Security Onion's new Sysmon dashboards. I really like the dashboards feature because it has the Sankey diagrams. You can do like group by, and you can group by like host name, PID, executable, command line. And essentially what the dashboards really help to do is kind of like aggregate all the data under one from the different various event data sets, so you can see exactly what's happening in your environment for any particular user or any particular process. So what I want to do on top of this is show how we can emulate kind of like a inject. And we're going to be using the Sliver C2 framework. We're going to set up a profile, a stage listener, and the actual MTLS listener after the stage payload executes and calls back and pulls down the part two. And if you're not familiar with Sliver, take a look at Bishop Fox's Sliver GitHub page. Has a lot of really cool features, too many to go over in a video like this. But if you wanted to do a quick start, you could just go to their wiki and then look at the server or the wiki page and kind of get familiar with how to set everything up. And it's really easy to kind of walk through. You can also go down to what we're going to be doing today is the stagers portion. And I've actually pulled this code from here for this C# binary, which will kick off and then execute the part two of the payload. So yeah, we're going to try to see if we can visualize all this in Security Onion using the Sysmon dashboards. Now we do have Security Onion set up. We're getting data from various different endpoints. But what we need to do now is we need to stage our payload, and we need to go ahead and create our profiles for Sliver and stage listener and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started with that. And what we'll do here, you can see that I do not have any profiles, so we'll go ahead and create a profile real quick. And it'll be profile, new beacon, and it's going to be, the architecture is going to be for AMD 64 OS Windows, and we'll do MTLS, and we'll have our IP here, and we'll do 443, and we'll do shellcode with evasion, and timeout will be, let's say, 5 minutes, I believe, and we'll do seconds will be 5, and a jitter of 2, and we'll call it no rules bytes. And let's see what we got here. Giant valid flag jitter. Oh, probably need to spell that right. And there we are. So then you can see here our profile right there. And let's go ahead and do the stage listener, and we'll do URL will be https 172.16.1.2, and we'll do 8443 right there for that. And we'll choose the profile that we want to use, which is going to be no rules bytes. And we'll go ahead and start compiling that for our second part of our payload. And then once that's done, we'll go ahead and we'll create our MTLS job. So we'll have 8443 as a job, and then I believe it's going to be 443 as well, the job. So let's go ahead and let that compile itself real quick. And what we're going to try to see if we can do, if we can get this to execute on the endpoint and then call back and then execute the second part of it, really. So the payload will execute and then it'll pull down everything, I think, in memory, and then execute and call back, and then you should have a callback, right? So let's see, give this just a second. And there it is, it's starting the HTTPS staging listener. And once that's done, you can look at jobs. You can see that's right there for 8443. And then let's do MTLS lhost 172.16.1.2, and it's going to be L port 443, right? And then you can look at your jobs and see we have all that here. And we currently don't have any beacons right now or any sessions. So let's go ahead and emulate a user downloading something on their endpoint that they shouldn't, and we'll go from there. So let's go back over here, and you can see that a user, Frank, got an email telling them to download a file so that they can, do their business. Came from the IT folks, and it said it's file.exe, but it's actually something different. So if we go and we visit the link, you'll see that we have corpupdate.exe. So what we can do is go ahead and download that real quick, and I'm sure Chrome will scream at us. Maybe Defender will as well. Not exactly sure. Let's just keep that right there. And we'll go ahead and keep the file. And once we keep it, we can actually go dir. We see that we have it. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and execute it. And then we'll look at our sliver C2 framework. And we'll see if we get a callback. And if we get a callback, then we can start doing some interactions. And then we'll look at Security Onion to see if we see anything. And boom, there we are. We do have a callback. And something I noticed interestingly was Defender didn't scream at us about it. So maybe some evasion there, not quite sure, but evasions for another video, I guess. So here we have our callback, and we can look at beacons, right? Now we have it on a 5-second interval with a jitter of 2. So if we go back and look at alerts, we can actually see that we get an alert for a user or an endpoint communicating with this 1.2 IP over 443 or 4433, right? And that was inside the actual stage 1 of the payload to call back. Actually, this is us pulling the binary down over 443, right? And that was in the email that the user got. So if we wanted to, we can actually look at it and see what we can see inside the actual log. And if we want to do some initial reconnaissance on this log, we can go and look at PCAP and see all the contents inside. So it's encrypted, and not really going to see much here. Let's go back, and then what we can do is we can go to hunt if we'd like to. We can hunt this IP, and we'll scale this back to 10 minutes. And we can see all the various data sets associated with this particular IP. We have Zeek, Sysmon, so Sysmon data is what we'll be focused on. We have Zeek logs as well, and we can sift through it this way if we'd like. But we have if we do this right here, we can do include. We can actually look at these logs, and we can start telling, hey, we have corp user, we have network connections coming from this corp update.exe. Very interesting there. And if we wanted to, we can switch over to dashboards, and then we can drop down and go to Sysmon overview, and then we can focus in on the corp user, include that, and we'll do the last 10 minutes. And here we are, we have everything associated with this computer name corp user, right? And all the different various data sets and all the users that are associated under this particular machine. So, or user accounts and whatnot. Frank is one of our main interests right here. And we can see that the process executable corp update.exe is right here. So what we can do is we can include this, and we can actually see target objects. We can see that we have network data communication 443, 8443, everything revolving around this corp update.exe. So from I guess, a malicious standpoint, if a user or a red teamer were to have a callback, they would want to do some enumeration, so to speak, right? So they can use the beacon ID, and they can do a who am I, and we can see that we're Corp Frank, and then we can actually look at all the privileges, I believe. And no, I don't think we can do it that way. We can actually do help, And here are all the, I guess you would call commands that we can run inside this particular beacon session that we have. Don't get sessions and beacons confused. They're kind of different. So let's see what else we can do. We can do info if we want. And we can see more additional information about the endpoint right here. First contact, last check-in, and next check-in, right? And so we ran a who am I, but let's go back and look at more alerts right here. And here we have just the Zerkata alert. If we wanted to go to dashboards again, we can actually, let's go back one more. And we can see that we still have our executable in question. And here's a process PID. And what we could probably do is like group in like command lines, see if any command lines are ran. So in order to do that, we have network connections. And let's go up and look to see if we can actually see if there's any command lines being ran. So process executable, process working directory. Let's do the last 50. And let's look at another log. And all we can see right here is just network connections, right? But we probably want to see if we can look at like command line as well. So let's do this. Let's go back into the overview section. And we just do Sysmon process, right? And let's hone in on our corp user. Do include. And here we can see the corp update.exe and with some other process command line arguments being ran, probably just native stuff happening on the endpoint. And we can see command.exe was run at some point. So we have process parent command line and see if we can actually look at anything else around corp update.exe. And we do see that this was ran using command line. Here's the original file name. We can see that right there. Interesting enough. What else can we see? Let's do last 10 minutes again, refresh. And do we have the who am I being ran? I do not see that. So let's look at this log. Probably nothing much going on here. So just service host. Let's see. Do we have any other alerts? No, nothing too out of the ordinary. We still have our beacon. So if we wanted to, we could do interactive. So let's do interactive. And once that's done, we should be able to use, I can actually look at sessions. And here we have a session that we can use. So we can use this one right here. We can drop down into a shell. And nope, we're not an adult, so we'll just go yes. And here you can say start a remote shell with process ID 4048, right? And let's go back to Security Onion and see if we see any other additional data around this particular user. And what we can do is we can start kind of looking at the dashboards and seeing how we can configure it to our own liking, right? Let's just update one more time. Let's just do a refresh. And just process creation, process access. But I only look at like process command line, right? And let's get rid of a couple of these real quick. Let's get rid of this one. And here we have process command line, process parent command line. And so we would probably do process parent command line with process command line, right? So let's get rid of that. And let's actually add some more to, let's choose process working directory, process executable. And let's actually add to this one right here. So process working directory, and let's look down and let's do process executable. We'll just group by process executable from here. And what we'll do is we'll find that particular field. So process executable, and then process parent command line. So here we have the working directory, process executable, and let's go down again. And I wonder if we can find process parent. Let's go a little further down in here. Process parent, process parent executable, and oh, we have process executable right here. So let's look at this one, and let's get rid of this right here. And you know what? Actually, let's do this. Let's start with the users, and then we'll go from there and just start creating our own dashboard on the fly. So here we have the computer name. All right. And let's look at the working directories. So if we want to do that, let's look to see if we actually have that field in here, the current working directory. Is that a parse field that we can grab? Let's see here, current working directory. Where are you at? I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Process working directory. Okay, so we have winlog computer name, process working directory, and let's scroll down right here, and let's look at process parent executable, process parent command line. So here we have process parent executable. And so we have that right there. And let's look up again the process executable. And let's do this right here. All right. And let's also group together the PIDs. So here we have process PID, process parent PID. All right. So let's do this one. And let's group the last one finally together with PID and process PID right here. And if we want to create a new diagram, we can look at it in this context right here. So we have downloads and system 32, but here we have this in question here for the Sankey diagram. So let's go back and let's do a who am I? And we could do a who am I all and see our privileges as this user Frank, and nothing too out of the ordinary. So let's go back to here, and do we see anything else in question? Might take a second or two for the data to funnel in. We have PowerShell, kind of one, and we have event data set process access. Let's get rid of that right there. And here we have some more data, right? So we see PowerShell was ran a couple times for who am I, and we have corp update.exe actually running PowerShell with different process PIDs. Here you can see. So here we can start to formulate, exactly all that's being ran from this user endpoint in the current working directory, which is, suspect. Right? We can actually probably do the command line as well. And here we have command line right here. So let's group that into process parent command line. That might be interesting. So we'll group that together. And kind of gets a little long, but there we are. You see we have it. And so we have process parent command line. And then let's do the process creation. And let's look at the command line right here as well. So I think we're starting to build a pretty neat little dashboard here that we could probably visualize and a Sankey diagram. So here we have our user, our current working directory, our binary, our other bits of information like a who am I being ran with process IDs and actually command line. So let's go back and let's do some enumeration. Now we're only a low-level user at this point, but if we wanted to see if we could find any services or executables with like unquoted paths without using PowerShell, we definitely can do that. One nifty trick to do that is just kind of living off the land, so to speak. And let's do this. And here you can see that we don't have to use power up or anything like that to figure out if there's any vulnerable services on this endpoint. But I actually grabbed this one-liner from a person on Twitter. So Twitter is like really gold mine for information and red team tactics and things like that. But as you can see here, we're essentially looking for unquoted service paths, right? To see if we can potentially take over a service and potentially elevate privileges, so to speak, right? So what we can do is just go back over here and see if we actually saw that being ran. And here we can actually see that PowerShell, and I don't actually see it just yet. No, nothing yet. Let's refresh this. 237, 239. And it might take a minute or two for it to funnel in, but let's look down here a little further. We actually see some WMI activity. And if we look a little closer, this might be associated with us running some queries to see if we can find any service paths that were potentially unquoted. Process creation right here. So here we have process creation. It doesn't seem like that might not have been us. There's probably a bunch of things happening on the endpoint, right? But definitely several various different data sets that we can look at. But we're ultimately just taking a look at these right here. And what we can do is, let's just include this working directory to just hone in on that one for now. And yeah, pretty nifty so far. Now let's go back to alerts and see if we see anything. So we have suspicious in-memory module execution, and we can drill down on that a little bit and also see if we see anything associated with this particular binary. And we do have update.exe. Looks like there's some sort of interaction with call trace. So Sysmon is looking at PowerShell and saying, hey, there's something happening in memory, so to speak. So that could be a telltale sign right there that there's something going on. So we'll go back here and let's look at dashboards again. And what we can try to do is let's get rid of a few things. Let's get rid of process parent command line. Let's get rid of command line. And let's get rid of process executable. And here's just the process command line, but we don't actually see, so visibility is key in this point. So we're not seeing that we ran this particular one-liner to find the vulnerable service. So if we wanted to, we could ls the service, and let's see if we could move corp update.exe to this vulnerable service path and see if we can just wait for the computer to restart. And we can actually like force a restart, just kind of like mimic, the computer went down and it restarted, and see what happens, right? So let's do this. Let's copy this, and we'll see if we can copy it to this folder location. And let's see, actually, probably gonna have to do this all here. So let's move corp update.exe to here. And let's see here, arguments. So we might have to put this in quotes. Let's move corp update.exe and put this in quotes here. And it says it's not found, probably because it's a weird path. I wonder if we can actually change directory to there. Well, we can't change directory to there. So, oh, here we are. Okay. So there's a file.exe in question. Probably best to see if we can either move it or copy our update.exe to this folder. Let's see if we can replace it with file.exe, replace it with our payload. So what we can do is we can come over here and we can stop this and let's do Python 443. And let's do a wget HTTP. Let's do 2.16.1.24433 and do corp update.exe, corp update.exe, and we'll do out file, and it'll be corp update.exe, and see if we can get that. And we do have that, so let's remove file.exe and let's move corp.update.exe to file.exe. And here we have file.exe created. Now we can go ahead and EOF to get out of our session. Actually, let's do this. Exit to get out of our session that we had on the endpoint. And once that's done, let's look over here at Security Onion. Do we see any other data coming in? Let's look again at, let's get out of here, the corp user. And do we have anything else of interest? Nope, nope. And let's actually look at the process, Sysmon process, or just Sysmon overview and hone in on corp user again. And we could scroll down and see if we see anything else of interest that might catch our attention. And file targets. And here we have this one in particular here that we were looking at. So you see corp.exe is being moved here. And PowerShell being used. And let's just include this. And here we are right here. Process executable PowerShell. We can scroll down here and gather any more information we need to. Let's look back over here. And let's background this. And let's look at our beacons. We have one beacon. And look at our sessions. All right, so we have one session. So if this worked correctly, then we might be able to look at whether or not, let's say, for instance, the users went home for the day and they are restarting, right? So nightly restarts happen. And as a red teamer, we're kind of sitting back. We're just waiting for the computer to restart to see if we can take control over this vulnerable service and see what happens, right? So we'll look back over here. And let's see, we lost a session, and we probably lost a beacon as well. So session, no more session, no more beacon. Everything's gone and dead, right? Let's see if we can look back over here. Our endpoint is restarting. So let's say they came in the next day, and let's say they go to log in for the first time. As you can see, we don't have anything at all. And let's say they go to log in for the first time, and here's Frank. Frank's going to log in, and boom, we have our callback. So we were able to take hold of that vulnerable service, and we do have a callback. Now we can use our new beacon that we have, and we can do a who am I, and see that we're now in T authority. So now that we're in T authority, we pretty much have full range of everything, and nothing screamed at us yet. Frank's still trying to log in, unknowing to him, nothing's gone wrong. But the only thing that we have, in Security Onion is we have our playbook rules telling us that something is going on in the environment with this corp.update.exe, and we have the historical logs to back that up, right? And actually go here and look, and we can see that we have executable or a DLL file downloaded over HTTP. We have probably from earlier the PowerShell user agent. We could look at this a little closer and see that it's over 4433, and it's our prior payload that kicked off to get the corp update.exe. And we can look here and look at this one, and oops, sorry, drill down and look here, and then look a little bit closer, and we can gather any more additional information that we need about what's going on with this endpoint. And we can see actually when it kicks off, we can see it, our binary going out and reaching for the stage 2 part, right? So really interesting, but this all happened in a span of like minutes. So the reaction time would have to be very quick to kind of figure out what's going on. And in a sea of logs, it might be difficult to kind of pinpoint that, right? But if we include this and we look at overall data sets that we're gathering under Security Onion, we might be able to determine whether or not something indeed malicious is occurring, right? And we can just slowly sift down through everything and look and pinpoint. If we wanted to, we could go back to alerts, and we could then go back to correlate and see if we can correlate anything to this particular alert right here that we got previously from Zerticata, right? And here we can look at network connections, and we can zoom in a little closer and see that there's a PowerShell connection occurring, and we can actually determine whether or not this is supposed to be happening inside of our network going outbound. Let's go back to dashboards real quick and go to Sysmon processes, and then let's look at our user again, and we have Frank, and we can look at all the particular information in here, and we can see if there's anything happening that shouldn't be happening, right? Such as scheduled jobs, things of that nature. Here's one of the logs that we did when we just grabbed a straight up session shell, and so on and so forth. And here's our corp.update.exe that's in question. If we wanted to, let's see if we can actually can we look at this particular binary just straight up. Let's include this real quick. And I also want to see if we can search for this process command line. And can we hunt anything across our various data sets? And we can look at a nifty dashboard to kind of outline all that if we want to do it that way. let's do the last 10 minutes. And we have a lot of Sysmon data. And here's our working directory. Here's some PowerShell stuff. We could see this particular log right here using PowerShell to actually pull that corp.exe down. And I wonder if, let's look here. And here's a network log, a Zericata alert, right? So we can kind of start determining what all is going on, what's happening. Windows event logs as well will definitely come in handy here to determine, anything else. But overall, pretty nifty kind of like, inject, so to speak. I like the Sysmon dashboard, playing around with it. It's pretty cool. Just the dashboards overall in general are pretty cool. Yeah, give it a go. It's kind of hard to sit and look at every nitpick detail. We'd be here for a long time. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a good video, I thought. And if you want to see anything else, please hit me up. Yeah, and I'll catch you guys later. Take it easy.